Hey, friends, and welcome back to Learn English Podcast Every Day. I'm so happy you're here with me again today, ready to simply relax, listen, and let the beautiful sounds of English wash over you. Our little corner of the internet, this podcast, is designed to be a calm space, a quiet moment in your day where you can learn English in a way that feels more like listening to a story or perhaps a gentle conversation with a friend. We explore words and ideas, not as lessons from a textbook, but as threads woven into the fabric of everyday life. If this episode, or any of our episodes, helps you to feel a little more confident, a little more at ease with English today, I'd love it if you gently liked, subscribed, or left a kind comment. Your quiet support truly means the world. Now, get comfortable, perhaps pour some tea, and let's begin. Today, we're going to gently open the door to a topic that might, at first, sound a little formal. Business discussion in English. But please don't let that phrase make you feel any pressure. We're not diving into complex corporate jargon or high-stakes negotiations right away. Instead, we'll approach it just like any other conversation, with curiosity and a desire to connect. I remember once, not so long ago, I was sitting in a quiet little cafe, just enjoying my morning coffee. And at the table next to me, there were two people, deep in conversation. They weren't wearing suits, just comfortable clothes, and their voices were soft, almost like mine right now. But I could hear snippets of their talk, words like project timeline, client feedback, and budget considerations. It struck me then how much of our lives, even our casual interactions, touch upon these kinds of topics. It's not just about big companies and boardrooms. It could be discussing a community project, or planning a school event, or even just talking to a friend about a shared task. Business discussions, at their heart, are simply about working together, exchanging ideas, and finding solutions. And often, it's not just what we say, but how we say it that truly matters. The politeness, the nuance, the gentle way we might express a different opinion or ask a clarifying question. These are the soft skills, the human touches, that make any interaction, business or otherwise, flow smoothly and feel respectful. So, for our time together today, I invite you to think of business discussion less as a daunting challenge and more as an opportunity. An opportunity to practice expressing your thoughts clearly, respectfully, and effectively in English. We'll look at some words and phrases that can help you feel more at ease, whether you're in a formal meeting or just chatting about plans with a colleague or a friend. It's about building confidence, one gentle step at a time, so that when these moments arise, you feel a little more ready, a little more capable, and a lot more comfortable. Let's explore how we can make these conversations not just functional, but also pleasant and productive. Now, as we ease into this, let's gently explore some words and phrases that can truly transform how you navigate these business discussions. These aren't just formal terms. They are tools to help you express yourself with more clarity, more grace, and more confidence. Think of them as soft keys to unlock smoother conversations. First, let's talk about a very practical word: timeline. When we speak of a timeline, we are simply referring to a schedule, a plan for when things will happen, from start to finish. It's like mapping out a journey, marking the moments when you expect to reach certain destinations. In any project, whether it's planning a community event or developing a new idea, having a clear timeline helps everyone understand the path ahead, and when different parts need to be completed, it gives a sense of structure and anticipation, helping us move forward together, step by gentle step, towards a shared goal. For example, you might hear someone say, "Our marketing team is working on a new campaign, and the proposed timeline for launching it is by the end of next quarter." Or, perhaps in a different context, "We really need to establish a clear timeline for our volunteer project to make sure we finish everything before the deadline." It's about creating a quiet sense of order, a predictable flow for our efforts. Could you try saying timeline with me very slowly? Timeline. Beautiful. Next, we have a phrase that might sound a little formal at first, but it's quite essential for understanding value. ROI. This is an abbreviation for return on investment. Essentially, it's about looking at what you put into something, your time, your effort, your money, and comparing it to what you get out of it. Is the benefit worth the cost? It's a way of thinking about whether a decision truly brings value. Sometimes the return isn't just money. It could be improved morale, increased efficiency, or a stronger sense of community. It's about being thoughtful about our choices and ensuring that our efforts yield meaningful results. For instance, you might hear a phrase like, "We need to ensure that this new training program offers a good ROI for our employees, not just in terms of skills, but also in boosting their confidence." Or perhaps, investing in sustainable practices might have a higher initial cost, but the long-term ROI for the planet and our reputation is immense. It's about seeing the bigger picture, the ripples that our actions create. Let's gently say ROI together. ROI. Wonderful. Now, let's consider a phrase that expresses a very human experience. Mixed feelings. This is what we say when we have both positive and negative thoughts or emotions about something at the same time. It's that subtle interplay of light and shadow, where a situation isn't entirely good or entirely bad. It's about acknowledging the complexity of things and allowing for nuances in our perceptions. In any discussion, especially when new ideas are proposed, it's perfectly natural to have these mixed feelings, to feel both hope and perhaps a little apprehension. It's honest, and it invites deeper understanding. Imagine someone saying, "I have mixed feelings about the new office layout. I like the open space, but I worry about the noise." Or, "I have mixed feelings about taking on this new project. It's exciting, but I'm also a little nervous about the workload." It's a gentle way to express a balanced perspective, showing that you've considered different aspects. Let's try saying mixed feelings slowly. Mixed feelings. Perfect. Another phrase, quite important when making significant decisions, is due diligence. This sounds quite serious, doesn't it? But at its heart, due diligence simply means doing a thorough and careful investigation or research before you make an important decision or enter into an agreement. It's about being responsible, about taking the time to truly understand all the facts, all the potential challenges, and all the possibilities. It's like carefully checking all the ingredients before you bake a very special cake, or reading the map very closely before embarking on a long journey. It's about making informed choices, thoughtfully and with great care. For example, before we decide on a new software vendor, we need to perform thorough due diligence to ensure their system meets all our security requirements. Or, in a more everyday sense, when I was looking for a new apartment, I did my due diligence by checking out the neighborhood at different times of the day. It's about that quiet, focused effort to gather all the necessary information. Can you say due diligence with me slowly? Due diligence, Kim? Excellent. Moving on, let's talk about pain points. This phrase refers to specific problems, challenges, or frustrations that someone experiences. In a business context, it often refers to what customers or users struggle with when interacting with a product or service. But it applies to any situation where someone faces a recurring difficulty. Identifying these pain points is crucial because it helps us understand where improvements are needed, where we can offer a helping hand, or how we can create solutions that truly matter to people. It's about empathy, about listening deeply to what isn't working, and then gently working to make things better. Someone might say, "Our customer service team has identified long wait times as a key pain point for our users." Or perhaps, one of the biggest pain points for me when trying to learn a new skill is feeling overwhelmed at the start. It's about recognizing those moments of friction and understanding where comfort and ease can be introduced. Let's slowly say pain points together. So, pain points. Very good. Next, we have a beautiful concept that speaks to the heart of polite communication: softening disagreement. This isn't about avoiding disagreement altogether, but about expressing a different opinion in a way that is gentle, respectful, and maintains harmony. It's about choosing words that invite conversation rather than confrontation. Instead of a direct, "No, that's wrong," we might use phrases like, "I understand your point, but I see it a little differently," or, "That's an interesting idea. However, I'm concerned about..." It's like gently redirecting a stream rather than building a dam. It shows respect for the other person's perspective while still sharing your own. For instance, you might hear, "I appreciate your enthusiasm for the new marketing campaign, but I do have some reservations about the proposed budget. I hope that's okay to mention." This is a way of softening disagreement. Or, "While I agree with much of what you've said, I might suggest a slightly different approach to the project schedule, just to ensure we have enough buffer time." It's about creating space for different views to coexist peacefully. Let's try saying softening disagreement. Slowly, softening disagreement. Wonderful. Finally, let's look at making suggestions. This refers to the gentle art of proposing ideas or solutions. Instead of simply stating what should be done, we often use softer, more inviting language to encourage discussion and collaboration. Phrases like, "Perhaps we could," "How about we," or "What if we tried?" are excellent ways to introduce an idea. It's not about imposing your will, but about offering a thought for consideration, inviting others to build upon it or to explore it together. It's a quiet invitation to innovate and to problem solve as a collective. You could say, "Perhaps we could organize a short workshop to explore different solutions." This is making a suggestion. Or, "How about we try a pilot program first just to see how it works on a smaller scale before we roll it out everywhere. It's about opening a door to new possibilities without demanding that anyone walk through it immediately. It's a very gentle, collaborative way to move forward. Let's slowly practice making suggestions. Making suggestions. You're doing beautifully. These words and phrases, when used thoughtfully, can truly help your English conversations flow with more ease and respect, making every interaction feel a little more comfortable and personal. As we continue our gentle journey into the world of business English, let's turn our attention to how we weave our words together. Sometimes it's not just what we say, but how we say it that truly matters. Today, I want us to softly explore two patterns that help us navigate conversations with grace and foresight. Imagining possibilities with the second conditional, and speaking with quiet diplomacy using polite modals like could, would, and might. Have you ever found yourself daydreaming about what might happen or what you would do if a certain situation unfolded? In business discussions, we often need to think about hypothetical scenarios, situations that aren't real yet, but which we want to explore. This is where the second conditional comes in, like a gentle guide helping us to wander through imaginary landscapes of what if. We use the second conditional to talk about something that is unlikely or impossible in the present or future, and its potential result. It has a lovely flowing rhythm. If this happened, that would happen. For instance, when we were talking about project timelines, you might find yourself thinking, if we had more time on this project, we would explore a wider range of creative options. See how it paints a picture of a different reality? It's not about what is, but what could be, given a different starting point. Imagine discussing a new product launch. You might reflect, if we launched this product without thorough user testing, it would likely lead to more customer pain points down the line. This helps us anticipate and plan, even for challenges that we hope to avoid. Or perhaps when considering remote work policies, someone might muse, if we offered more team-specific flexibility, our employees might feel more valued and productive. It's a way of gently testing ideas in our minds, exploring their gentle ripples without committing to them fully. Now, let's shift our focus to those wonderful, soft words that help us make our suggestions and requests feel like a warm invitation rather than a demand. We spoke earlier about softening disagreement and making suggestions, and these polite modals, could, would, and might, are truly our best friends here. They add a layer of thoughtfulness and respect to our communication, making conversations flow with a delicate ease. Think about the difference between saying, do this, and perhaps we could try this. The feeling is entirely different, isn't it? When we use could, would, or might, we're inviting collaboration, opening a door to shared ideas, rather than stating a firm opinion. It's like offering a hand, rather than pointing a finger. For example, when discussing budget decisions, instead of saying, we need to cut expenses, you could gently offer, we could explore some cost-saving strategies for our supply chain. This leaves room for discussion and input, making the process feel more inclusive. Or, if you're offering an idea for a team-building activity, you would say, I would suggest an escape room as it encourages collaboration rather than a direct statement. It's a softer way of putting your idea forward, allowing others to consider it at their own pace. Even when you're simply offering help, these words create a beautiful sense of willingness. I could assist with drafting that proposal for the interview process improvements. Sounds much more approachable than just, I will draft it. Or, it might be helpful to send out a survey before deciding on the new office layout. Delicately introduces a suggestion, acknowledging it as a possibility rather than a necessity. These gentle grammar patterns, the second conditional for envisioning possibilities, and the polite modals for diplomatic connection, truly allow our business discussions to unfold with more warmth, more understanding, and a greater sense of shared purpose. They are tools for connection, allowing us to express ourselves with quiet confidence and consideration for others. Now that we've gently explored these linguistic pathways, let's bring them together, like threads weaving a soft tapestry. It's time to feel how these words and grammar patterns naturally blend in conversation. Remember, the beauty of learning English this way is not about perfection, but about the quiet act of trying, of letting the sounds resonate within you. Let's try some sentences that combine our vocabulary from earlier with these polite grammar structures. Listen first, then I'll invite you to repeat it slowly at your own pace. First, imagining possibilities with the second conditional and our key business terms. Imagine we're talking about a project's rhythm, its timeline. How might we discuss a hypothetical change? Try saying this with me very slowly. If we had more clarity on the project's timeline, we could better justify the ROI. Pause for listener to repeat. Once more, letting the words flow smoothly. If we had more clarity on the project's timeline, we could better justify the ROI. Pause for listener to repeat. See how the if we had sets up the hypothetical situation and could justify shows the potential gentle outcome? It paints a picture of a desirable future, doesn't it? Let's try another, thinking about those tricky pain points that sometimes arise. How might we use the second conditional to express a gentle warning about not addressing them? Repeat after me softly. If we didn't address those customer pain points, now we would definitely see more negative client feedback later. Pause for listener to repeat. Again, gently allowing the words to sink in. If we didn't address those customer pain points, now we would definitely see more negative client feedback later. Pause for listener to repeat. This sentence gently warns about future consequences, doesn't it? It helps us plan proactively, with kindness and foresight, aiming to avoid future discomfort. Now, let's integrate due diligence and having mixed feelings into a conditional statement. Sometimes reflection on past actions helps us understand present emotions. Try this with a calm mind. If they had done proper due diligence before the partnership, they wouldn't have such mixed feelings about it now. Pause for listener to repeat. One more time, letting the meaning resonate. If they had done proper due diligence before the partnership, they wouldn't have such mixed feelings about it now. Pause for listener to repeat. This helps us reflect on past decisions and their current impact, doesn't it? It's a gentle way to understand the emotional landscape of a situation. Now, let's move beyond just repeating. This is where we gently invite your own thoughts and experiences into the conversation. I'll ask you a soft question, and I encourage you to pause, breathe, and perhaps even speak your answer aloud to yourself. There's no right or wrong here, just the beautiful practice of expression, allowing your unique voice to emerge. Let's think about the concept of softening disagreement. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you had to express a different opinion, but you wanted to do so very gently, without causing any tension or disharmony? Take a moment. What phrases or words would you use to soften your disagreement in that moment? If you were talking about a new office layout, for instance, and you had mixed feelings about it, how might you express that kindly and diplomatically? How would you ensure your voice is heard but with grace? Pause for listener to think and perhaps speak. Perhaps you thought of something like, I understand your perspective, but I might have a slightly different idea. Or, I have mixed feelings about this. Could we perhaps explore some alternatives? Just letting those gentle words emerge from within you like a soft breeze. It's about creating space for different viewpoints, isn't it? Consider another scenario, perhaps involving making suggestions. Imagine you're in a meeting or even a casual conversation, and you have an idea that you believe could truly improve a process or solve a pain point for your team, your friends, or even your customers. How would you introduce that idea using our polite modals and the vocabulary we've touched upon today? What could you say to invite others to consider your suggestion rather than simply stating it as a command? How would you make it feel like a shared exploration of possibility? Pause for listener to think and perhaps speak. Maybe something like, I would like to suggest we explore an FAQ page to address those common customer pain points, or perhaps we could implement a small pilot program for this new approach. What do you think about that idea? The key is that invitation, that opening for shared thought, allowing your idea to be considered gently. Let's think about due diligence for a moment. This idea of careful, thoughtful preparation. Have you ever been involved in a situation, personal or professional, where thorough research and careful preparation, that quiet act of due diligence, was absolutely critical before making a significant decision? It could be anything from buying a new appliance to starting a new hobby. If you were to advise someone today on making an important decision, what would be the most crucial step they should take to ensure thorough due diligence? What quiet, careful advice would you offer to help them avoid future pain points or mixed feelings? Pause for listener to think and perhaps speak. You might have thought about gathering all the facts, speaking to those with experience, or truly understanding all the potential challenges involved. It's about being thoughtfully prepared, isn't it? It's a gentle reminder to slow down and truly look before you leap. Finally, let's reflect on the idea of a timeline and how it impacts us. Think about a project or a goal you've had, big or small, that had a set timeline. If that timeline suddenly shifted, or if you were given more or less time than expected, how would that change your approach to it, both practically and emotionally? And how could you diplomatically discuss a potential shift in a timeline with others, perhaps gently making suggestions for how to adapt, while also considering their feelings and expectations? How would you navigate that conversation with a sense of calm and collaboration? Pause for listener to think and perhaps speak. Perhaps you would say, if we were to adjust the timeline by a week, we could ensure higher quality deliverables and reduce potential pain points later. Or I might suggest we gently reevaluate the timeline given these new insights. What are your thoughts? It's all about navigating those discussions with calm and foresight, isn't it? It's a dance of ideas, not a battle of wills. These moments of quiet reflection and gentle speaking practice are so valuable. They allow the words and structures to sink in, to become a natural part of your inner voice, to feel comfortable and true. I truly encourage you to continue this practice, perhaps in a quiet moment after our time together. You could grab a notebook, a journal, and write down some of these phrases that resonated with you. Or simply find a peaceful spot and gently speak your thoughts aloud. Using some of the vocabulary and grammar patterns we've explored today, think about your own daily life or even imaginary scenarios. How would you use these polite modals to make a suggestion to a friend about a weekend plan? How could you gently soften a disagreement with a family member about what to watch on TV? How might you describe your mixed feelings about a new recipe you tried? The more you engage with the language in a personal, reflective way, the more it truly becomes yours. It's like nurturing a small, beautiful plant. With gentle care and consistent attention, it grows strong and vibrant, allowing you to express yourself with quiet confidence and a natural flow. As we gently bring our time together to a close, I invite you to take a slow, deep breath with me. Remember at the very beginning of our conversation, when we talked about those moments in business discussions that might feel a little daunting or perhaps even a bit stiff? Those times when you wished you had the perfect words to express yourself, not just clearly, but with genuine warmth and understanding? It's often not just about the words themselves, is it? It's about the feeling behind them, the intention. It's about building bridges, even in the most formal of settings, and finding that soft human connection. We've explored today how the simple act of softening disagreement can transform a tense moment into an opportunity for mutual understanding, and how making suggestions with politeness can invite collaboration rather than imposing an idea. These aren't just business phrases, they are tools for kinder, more effective communication in every part of your life. They help us to navigate conversations, not with a desire to win, but with a gentle hope to connect and build something together. If this helped you feel more confident in English today, I'd be so grateful if you shared it with someone learning too. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep learning.